Hey, I'm Henry J, and I'm here with Kelsie Kimberlin. How you doing, Kelsie?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hanging in there, Okay. So when did you first get into music? What got you started?
Well, I've always been into music since like a very young age. And I have my dad to thank me a lot for that. My dad was, he had his little bands growing up as well.
Nice.
And I think ever since he was like, I think it was like socially acceptable to take like an infant to a rock concert, I was there, but
Wow.
with like big noise canceling headphones. So probably shouldn't have been bringing me, but he was bringing me, and I was out till like 2 in the morning with him, going to all these concerts. So it's kind of been our thing. But a big thing is like I think a lot that a lot of things got me into it was like my dad and concerts and seeing him play, and it kind of inspired me. And
And
I
what
also,
does he play? What instrument does Brett play?
he plays guitar. He can play
Cool.
some bass. I think he'd like to say he can play piano. Never seen. He can sing. He can sing. He's got vocals. I definitely got them from my dad, not my mom. My mom's tone deaf.
And then when did you start writing songs?
Since a very young age, around like 7, 8.
Wow.
So that's when I started. They weren't great, but it
What
was started.
What was your first song? Do you remember it?
Oh gosh. The first one that I can like actually remember that like got somewhere and some traction was it was this song called so my dad got me so there's a background story to this because you're gonna be like, how does an 8-year-old know about any of this? But my dad used to take me into a lot of protests growing up. He used to talk to me about political stuff and like just things that were going on in the world. Like I probably shouldn't have known a lot of the things I knew at a very young age. um about so we went to like a protest about protesting George Bush. And this is when you could get really close back then. And he actually drove past me in his car and rolled down his window and thought I was like some cute kid that wanted to say hi to him. My dad like handed me handcuffs beforehand, and this is like embarrassing but also funny. And I was like, "You're going to jail!" I yelled to put
Oh,
handcuffs, and he stormed off. So I wrote this song called "Bush is Over," and it was and I worked on like a peace project with Yoko Ono because of that song when I was around 8, and I won some prize money from it. And actually, that's kind of what really got me started into playing and writing is because they were like, "What do you want to? You had to do some creative money." And my dad surprisingly was like, "What do you want to do with it?" And I was like, "I want to take guitar, piano, drums, and I want to take singing lessons." So I paid for all of my lessons for a couple of years with that money.
so can you sing a little of your first song for me? The Bush song? Can you
The
sing a little bit?
push is over if you want it.
So musically, what were your influences? Like what do you listen to then and now?
Growing up, it was a lot of Beatles. My dad and I probably know every song, every word. We've watched all like the movies that come out about the Beatles and the one of like their creative writing process. They put it out, I think, on like Disney Plus. It was out on, and Across the Universe. We love that movie. Um, we watched it probably over 300 times. Um, but yeah, the Beatles definitely growing up. I will be in middle school. I remember I had a very big Taylor Swift phase. I loved Taylor Swift, and I loved that she would name drop people. And then,
Like
right now,
ex-boyfriends and stuff? Is that?
yeah, I thought it was really bold.
I guess.
I,
Tell me what you're doing with Ukraine. You're a big supporter of Ukraine.
well, I don't know if you know this, but my mom was actually born and raised there, so
Did not know
I have a lot of family there that currently still lives there and refuses to leave. But I've also had some family that came here and have stayed here with us until like we figured out and helped them get their own place and stuff.
that. Oh,
But I think that's why I write a lot of songs and I talk about it a lot is because like it affects me personally and affects my family as well. So and I've gone there every single summer growing up, and I haven't been since because of COVID. We had COVID and then we had the war, and so I haven't been there in a little bit.
you did a song called Spoof about Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
So what inspired that? What's the message on that song? Because I'm going to play that. That'll be on the show.
Well, it was basically a message of talking about like, is this real? What if it wasn't real? But it was also kind of me just trying to put it out there. I wanted to give like an ominous, like kind of like dark song for people to like understand what was going on there. And the whole video is fixated on, it's a bunch of pictures and a heart, and
Mm-hmm.
they're actual real pictures of the war, and a frontline photographer took all of them and he sent them to us. So I used all of those. So if you like pause and you look, some of them are pretty sad to look at. But it was me trying to like raise awareness and get people to understand, like, you know, we're here, there's nothing happening here, but there's a war going on. And it's not really like, there are things in the news, but no one's really like talking about like what, like the darkness of it, or, you know, it's not on like every front page. So I just thought it was important to put out there.
That's good. No, it's a good tune. I watched your videos, so it's good stuff. And your videos are all high quality. I mean, I think they all look great. So a little bit lighter. First, you travel like crazy. You've been everywhere, I think, right?
I've been
not the moon, but you know, besides
I would
that.
like to go to a lot more places. I have been to a lot, but I also feel like it's not a lot. You know what I mean? Because I want to travel the whole world, but
Well, it looks like, you know, your song Cosmopolitan, which I really liked. You've been to are those shots from all those cities?
So funny enough, I actually have been to all those places.
Yeah. Now, what did you do in Colombia? Was there some new songs? Did you work on some new?
I worked on 2 new songs, and I did 2 music videos for them down there.
Sweet.
But one of the videos, actually, it's, you know, most people are going to see it and they'll be like, oh, it's pretty beach. No, we hiked 15 miles through the jungle for this music video. And it was over like 95 degrees out. And I was so impressed. My dad kept up the whole time. And it was so hot by the end. As soon as we're finishing the take, I look at everyone, I'm like, are we done? Like, I jumped in the ocean, like fully clothed, makeup. It was incredibly hot, and we end up getting into a tropical storm and having to pay someone to get on a boat, and the water level is literally the same as the boat, and we got drenched. We were wearing the boat, the underneath of the boat, basically.
Did you get any shots of that? I would love to have that footage.
I have a video somewhere. It was before like my phone was going to get too drenched, and it's a video of both Brett and I getting splashed in the face and just like spitting out ocean water. But
yeah, I would have made it about halfway, and then I would say, just go on without me. I can't. Just leave me. Yeah.
But it was pretty amazing, you know. It was on my knees, and that was pretty awesome.
That's a real adventure. You know, that's a true adventure. Most people said, yes, I took a vacation in Germany and I got stomach cramps. No, this is a real adventure, is going to Colombia.
I also got invited and allowed to film and meet an indigenous tribe. So I also hiked through the jungle and met an indigenous tribe and shot some footage there and hung out with the kids. I held a chicken. It was awesome.
So where do you want to go with your music career? Because you've done a lot of work and a lot of videos, and what are you looking to do?
Honestly, I would love to make it like a full-time career out of it. I am in school right now. I am going to college at the same time I do all of this, just to get a degree. But if I could make this a full-time thing and I get to just like be on stage and travel the world and sing for a million people, I think I would be very happy and content with my life. I don't think I'd ever have to do anything ever again. So that's what I'd really like to do. And if I could just, instead of going to school and doing homework, if I could just sit in a studio all day, I'd be happy.
Yeah, that's the problem with music. I've been a musician for over 50 years, you know, and once you're hooked, you know, you got to play. You got to go out and play, you know, so.
Yeah, I can't be a person who sits in an office and goes to an office job. I just can't do it. It's just, I think I wouldn't be satisfied. And my dad's always told me, he's like, money, he's like, it is important, but you know, it's more important doing something you love. And so that's why he's been a really big support of like what I do. And when I went to college, he looked at me and he goes, "Are you sure you want to go to college? You know you're going to hate it, right?"
Hey, you got to try. You got to try those things. So, all right. So, okay. Well, thanks for being on the show. I sure appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me and wanting to talk to me.
Yeah,